Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of First Impressions here at MurrOtter. I'm Matt, and today we're checking out the game Sparklite, which is a roguelite from Red Blue Games, Merge Games, and Maple Whispering Ltd. Whoa, a lot of words to get out there in the beginning, but this one's cool. It's got kind of this like roguelite element with permanent progression based on how you explore the world with some very, I think, obvious Zelda influences. I've obviously played it for a little bit to check it out, but we're going to start a new game here just so you can get some of the nuances. Hopefully we can still hurry through it a little bit. This is some real basic tutorial they give you right off the bat here. You're with your little robot friend. We're about to crash. The storm is highly unusual. I'm detecting severe seismic activity on the surface. For now, we have full systems. Wait, stand by. We're experiencing strange corrosion on our hull. It looks like it's moving. Okay. Quick, take it out. Show me you know how to swing your sword. So I'm playing with a keyboard mouse. Not sure if there's a better way to do it. You could probably do controller. I just feel better about that with a roguelite like this one. So I'll talk about a little bit about the influences. They become more obvious. I don't want to just jump in. I'll let you just see the basics of the combat itself here. So now we're learning about our charge attack. We can hold down our hammer to bang in these here nails. Interestingly, you'll see we got to get around here, hit those in. They haven't introduced us to a dodge yet, but that's spacebar, at least that I'm aware of. But there we are. Combat feels good and tight. I mean, you saw you can move around quickly. It's pretty easy. So I mentioned it's a roguelite with some permanent elements. There are some story elements and cutscenes like this, which you'll see here in just a sec. This amulet's been passed down from your family generations. It's priceless to you. Okay, what am I supposed... Oh, I gotta hit this button. Alright, time to leave. Oh, the button goes up. Looks like Robot Boy's gonna have to hold it down for me. There's no time. Save yourself! You have to go without me. Please don't fret. It's truly been a pleasure serving you. Goodbye, Ada. And Ada jumps out and says, fuck you, BB-8. I know BB-8 doesn't fly. Leave me alone. All right, so we landed on the ground. Here's where you get a little bit more of a feel for what the actual layout feels like. We need to go get our amulet, though, in order to open the Zelda shrine there. And there it is. We take it back. And we'll go in and see what this has to offer us. So there's a few different things that can happen. What will happen eventually, you'll see we'll get kind of our own version of Cloud City, which is sort of your hub. Within that hub, you can upgrade the different stations where you can buy new weapons, get widgets, get like health upgrades. Those elements come in the form of patches, which you find in the world, or blueprints for this weapon, which you'll see how we do that. Every now and then you'll find a shrine when you're exploring the world in the roguelite elements of the game that will let you go through little temples like this one, where you have to prove your worth for the weapon. If you can, you get to keep the weapon as a blueprint if you can solve that puzzle. And they're usually relatively simple like this, showing you the mechanic, and then sort of they'll get, you know, increasingly more difficult just to show you the nuances of the weapon. But eventually you'll get to keep that blueprint and then take it with you for future runs down on the world once you die. So really the only thing you end up losing when you die are the actual weapons and things you pick up, but there are permanent things you can pick up that then you're able to store and bring with you in future runs. What's nice though is there's a limited inventory situation within that makes sure you can't just bring endless things with you. And I'll show you how that works when we get there. Again, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself before I'm actually able to help you like visualize what you need. Again, this is all tutorialized. We're not in any kind of roguelite thing yet. We're still kind of learning what's going to happen. Got a piece of blue Sparklite. This is worth 5 pieces of Sparklite. Sparklite is your currency in the world. You find it. You do not lose the Sparklite when you die. The Sparklite you pick up, once you die, you get to bring back with you to the ship. You can decide whether you want to spend it or save it for bigger things, but there is not a risk reward for the Sparklite itself. As far as I've noticed, what you lose so far is just the weapons and things you find within your run. You found a widget bag. Contains some valuable looking gizmos. Someone likely wants it back, and the music's really good. Captures the retro vibe. You've got your pixel art. I know that people are kind of, you know, split on how they feel about that. I'm a sucker for it. I like the retro pixel art. This guy wants his widget bag. Boy, am I glad to see another person. That was quite the storm. Never seen anything like it. I decided to give him a voice. And those ground tremors. I was worried this whole place was going to shift out from under us. The name's Hawkins, and this is, well, it was my widget shop. No way I'll be able to do business with these tremors keep up. Tremors are how they explain within the lore of the game why the world keeps shifting. I heard rumors of a floating city where people are taking refuge from the storms. I'd like to set up shop there, but I can't find my widget bag anywhere. Hey, think you can help me track it down? I'll make it worth your time. I think some gremlins nicked it from me during the storm. There's a camp of gremlins southwest of here. See if you can find my widget bag there. Sir, I have your widget bag. Aha! You found my widget bag. To be honest, I didn't think you could handle those gremlins. Who uses a wrench as a weapon? Thanks for the widgets. Even though I sent you on that suicide mission, I'm gonna help you. Now I can head out to find this refuge place folks are talking about. I didn't forget our bargain. As a reward for bringing me my widgets, you can keep the bag. So he wanted the bag, but now I get to keep it. I'll even let you keep a few time mines I left in there. So let's just put explosives on the ground. They're basically your bombs in Binding of Isaac. Takes a little bit longer to lay though, and you got to run away. Bang! We have a path to our next area of the game, which is your first dungeon. These little dungeons of the game can either lead you to like some little fights against like mini bosses or big bosses, which we're about to get a taste of here. Not exactly clear on if this is a scripted death, but I died very quickly in my first go at it. However, I did not fully understand the mechanics of the game the first time I saw it. Maybe that's improved. We're all going to find out together. Little dude, BB-8. Ada, you're alive. Listen, you shouldn't be here. It's too strong for you. Oh, no. Get out before it's too... Ah! Boris, the Tunneling Titan. Come on, Boris. All right, so... See... I think he's too strong. Like, your hits don't do enough damage. All right. I'm going to put up the fight. I want to know. Okay. I don't think I would have been able to hold on to it long enough. I'm sure you can win, though. You can see it's doable. You just got to get the mechanics down perfectly. I haven't seen that boss before, though, to be fair. When you have no idea what's coming, you just get bulldozed, lose over a heart with that. So this is your main hub. So this is the refuge. It's a safe haven from chaos of Geodia. We've leveraged contemporary astro theory for loss of spike. Keep you up days ago. You look like you've been out like a light. Titan gave you a real beating. What were you thinking? Fighting one of Baron's foremen alone. You need to be in the Titan rig yourself to stop one, or at least as strong as one. Hold on, that gives me an idea. Can I see your multi wrench? All right, so she's gonna upgrade it, and now you see your first little bit of upgrade shops. So now we have a patch on board, which will allow us to now buy patches. And she gives us our first one free, which will let us get a quarter heart health. Again, seems like a little bit of a Zelda tribute to me. It's a resilience patch. We can find more of those in the world. With enough patches, maybe we can take out the foreman. And she's going to need Sparklite. Again, the currency you find out in the world. You'll see the different cost of these in just a sec. We get it by killing people. You find treasure chests, you break things, you find more, bring it back. So you'll see the risk reward. I've got 80. It's like, do I want to just hurry and buy another heart pack? Do I want to wait so I can buy the bronze multi-tool damage patch, which obviously is very valuable. It lets you do more damage. And then you can also upgrade your medical facility, which lets you put in better, stronger patches. The medical facility is where you actually apply the ones you buy. I am going to buy a second one. So now we're going to have a half of a heart between the two, I believe. You apply them here. I mentioned there's a limited amount of places where you can place your patches. You can see here, right now we have 9. I don't know if this expands yet, but for now, that's what we got. You also have the ability to see your map when you're down on Geodia, as well as your inventory for that specific run. For now, though, that's all I'm going to buy. I'm going to leave the other 31. You'll see that'll kind of accrue more as we go through, and when we die, we come back. I'm not going to do all the dialogues until we can get them, but this guy here will let you, he wants you to upgrade his workshop. I'll just talk to him. But he wants Sparklite to get his workshop in order so that his gadgets, you know, he can make them for us. Up here, we already met our homeboy who helps us with the widgets. And then here is where you start your runs. We'll go out on an expedition right now. So you just run over once you're ready to go start a run, and you'll do that. Again, This is where the roguelite element comes into play. This is the first moment where the map has rolled itself. You can see when you hit tab, you have your full screen of this particular run, which you can always peek back into. So the way I like to go is push to the edges of my screens just to know where the borders are. What's cool is there are like little mini quests that apply to the different areas of the game. So like for this one, for example, there's a brother and a sister we'll come across who want to find each other. I assume this is a different run. I don't know if those apply for every run, but for the first run I did on my initial save, I found one like that. And you want to find the other sibling to help them. Also here you'll see there's these different nodes, which when you hit, when we get all three, it'll unlock and let you into the next area. This area's language of the way it speaks to you kind of reminds me of Hyperlight Drifter. This would take us over to the Shifting Sands, but we need to find more of those within our map to find it yet. Also want to knock these down, don't forget. Ultimately, getting geode and patches is, or I call them geodes, that's from Hollow Knight. Getting Sparklite is going to help us. So here you also see we got a treasure chest over here. I want to make sure I hit that. The screams, if you're wondering, not sure if you can hear those in your version there, but are coming from these weird-ass flowers. So we found another resilience patch. I believe we will get to keep that if we get out alive. Well, not if we get out alive, but if we get out, we get that patch. Hey there, been a while since I saw another person out there. The name is Margot. I'm an explorer. My brother Pogo and I were out exploring, but the quake split us up. I want to go back to the refuge, but I can't leave without knowing he's okay. Would you mind looking for him? You can give him this medallion to let him know I'm safe. The stone medallion signifies Margot is safe in her travels. Thanks. Careful while you're searching for him. These medallions have a tendency to break during the fractures. Pogo has always wanted me to see some giant vines in the Vinlands. You should check for him there. I said he wanted her to see it, but he wants to see them for himself. Oh my god, I just jumped in. But you see that only costs us a quarter heart. No biggie. The other thing we're able to do here is we're able to push... Sorry, I was going to say we're able to push through this block if we want to see what it can do. If we had mines, we don't have those yet. They're not a given on any run. It's currency that you find in the world. I did push all the way in one direction there. So now I'm ready to push to my next map. I'm just walking through my logic. I'm not telling you that's the right way to play. I just want you to know my approach, which is to jump in holes to ensure needless damage. So here you're able to walk in the shallows, not able to go in that deeper part without falling, but instead we're able to get that. Now we do have discharges which fill our energy meter, which allows you to shoot weapons, which we don't have. We don't have any shooting weapons yet. We do have the blueprint for the bow, but we don't have the shop where I could have equipped that yet. But once we have the Sparklite, we'll be able to do that. Easy to remember the currency as it's the name of the game. So each of these little areas, again, for the first little part of the game, you're going to primarily be in what's called the Vinlands. But we've already seen the Shifting Sands and some of the other areas you can get to once you've mastered and sort of tapped out the first area of the game. Oh, fucking Christ. This is not going well. There we go. At least we didn't die to the first one of those we saw. Oh, God bless. I thought I had you. All right. We really could use some health. Health is not a given. I will say that. As you can see there. It's a good opportunity to show you back at the base. But there's not a ton of it to be found, at least initially. You can find items that can heal you. And you find hearts a lot of times in the dungeons. But you saw the only thing that dropped out of my pack there were those little energy refilling consumables, which I didn't even bother to equip because we don't have anything that needs it. So this is the first time you hear about it. They snatch us up before the quake. The way the world's been shifting below us is truly remarkable. It's as if it completely fractures and restructures itself. The world won't be the same next time you disembark for Sparklite, so be sure to be alert down there. So now, one thing I do want to point out. In the future, you'll be able to stack these. You'll notice down at the bottom, I could fuse. But I'm not able to do it because fusing is enabled by upgrading the medical facility to level 2. So, in order to upgrade the medical facility, we'd need 250 Sparklite. So it's a question of, do you want to do that yet? No, I think instead I'd rather save up to 100, get a stronger get a stronger tool, maybe another one of these, then we'll worry about that. You know, we don't have enough patches yet to worry about optimizing how we equip them. So it's fine to have 3 quarter hearts equipped, for example. Oh, there is one other person I'll introduce you to. She introduces you to basically this game's equivalent of the Jinjos, if you ever played Banjo-Kazooie, but these little collectibles that you find out in the world. She hears chirping nearby. We found her little singing fairy thing. It'll have a name. Don't remember what it is, but you're going to find out with me right here. It's a beet. Wasn't it the happiest sound in the world? I've been searching everywhere for more beets. I can't believe you found one. Beets used to be easy to find, but the Baron's pollution makes it hard for some of them to get enough air to sing, and when the beets can't sing, they eventually wilt and die. They've been starting to hide from the pollution, but I'm afraid they will die if we don't find them soon. If you find any beets during your adventures, send them here so they can sing to us. Oh, my name's Harmony, by the way, and this is my golden beet buddy, Tempo. Okay, so just another, again, permanent progression thing that you can find in the roguelite world below. What does it cost to make your world at workshop? See, that is where I believe we can get our bow and arrow. Don't have the cash for it yet, though. Don't have the cash to build either of the workshops. Those are worth it because they can give you something to head into with permanently. So I might invest in that after our next run. But again, I'd really like the wrench damage just because I like to be able to kill enemies quickly. But that might just be me. Well, shit, that's the beat I already found that just fell out of that dang tree. There we go. We got some scatter bombs, basically. So same strat. I'm going to push up to the left at first. So you kind of get a quick feel for the enemy types. Again, in the true nature of a roguelite, it's about learning the language of the game. So first you have to learn how the game progression works, and then how the enemies work, and that's sort of its own progression. So your character might not necessarily get the permanent progression that's possible through the game mechanics, which of course that will come. But what's also cool is that there's another kind of progression just in the ability for you to learn, and that's something that I've always really kind of appreciated and liked about roguelites. You can see that there should be Sparklite inside of this rock, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Sometimes there are also paths and things under those rocks, but for now, Sparklite is worth it. It's a consumable I can't take with us when we go. This thing is one of the more dangerous enemies you have in this world for now, just because it can take over 1 heart of damage when it hits you. Now, one thing that's a little strange about the game is what happens to the enemies when you leave and come back to screens. So for now, as far as I can tell, unless you enter like a mine where there are like bosses and mini bosses, they'll stay gone. Once you do that though, enter like a location that is no longer the like sort of main map itself. Jesus, that's another problem I'll talk about in just a sec. As far as I can tell, then when you do that, then the enemies will respawn. So just something to keep in mind. So that's a piece of white Sparklite. It's worth 10 pieces. So now we're over 100. We're going to be able to buy something after this particular day. Something else I've noticed, though. When I'm playing with a mouse and keyboard, one thing I dislike, and I'm sure you Gungeon players are a little more used to it. I only played Gungeon with a controller. But as I might be like, you know, running up like this and not notice I let my mouse slip up behind me. And so I'll go to dodge, and I'm dodging the direction my mouse faces, rather than the direction I actually want to face or I'm holding with my keyboard. So that can be a little bit problematic at times. It just happened right there, too. I mean, that's a good example of get good, I know, but just speaking honestly, speaking from the heart here, sometimes you gotta decide the risk reward of like, is it even worth fucking with these guys? A lot of times, the answer is like a resounding no. It's also that they sort of, the line they take to you is a little bit late is something that I have to adapt to as well, to be fair. Okay, so we've hit another dead end, but also another opportunity for our cluster bombs. Oops. Hey, another beat. Or is that the same one? It feels like I found the pink one like 13 times. But we do have our first dead end, which means I'll go back up the map over here and we'll proceed south. I really hope you can hear the music. I tried to make sure it was loud enough in the mix, but not so loud it would drown me out, but it's really charming and really fits the world. The game does have a certain Zelda-esque quality to it. So, we have the ability to enter a temple here. We're gonna do it. I mentioned this is an ability to get blueprints for new weapons. Now, the first one I found, which was within the Vinlands, was this sort of like Zeppelin bomb that you can drive, and it looks like that stays the same. So I'm not sure yet, because again, I've only played the game for maybe like a half hour total, whether or not this resets sometimes, but it seems like maybe this is the shrine for the Vinlands, and you just have to find it within the shifting map. So this is an interesting weapon. It's like a remote control bomb. So what happens is you fire it, hold down your mouse button, and you can continue to navigate it with your keyboard, and that will let you like take it around corners. And of course, it's cool because they're transparent about that mechanic right away. It takes you a little bit of puzzle solving. Like I had to figure out how to get it to drive it because it doesn't happen. You don't shoot it then drive it. You'd shoot it and have to hold the shoot button down. That took me a minute to kind of learn that mechanic. But once you got it, it made perfect sense because otherwise you might be moving Otto around by accident. And they just wanted you to figure that out for yourself, which I like. It's obviously not super easy to control, but it gives you some interesting like potential for battle mechanics later in the game, and they just want you to understand that and learn about that before you leave with it. And it's cool because you actually have to learn it on a moving target. What I like to do here is take it sort of obviously opposing to the moving path where possible, just so that the little nodes will kind of drive right into your bomb. Oh, and then you have to put the weapon back on. You don't get to use it out in the world, unfortunately. It'd be cool. But that builds the patch for you, which means now that's available for me to be something I can build in the workshop before it runs. We haven't built our workshop yet, so you don't know about that, but maybe that's what we'll do for the next one. If we don't do our patch upgrade, maybe we'll get to do both. I don't know how far I'm going to make it. I'm going to go ahead and use my last cluster, though, to blow that rock up to get a little more Sparklite. More Sparklite, the better. Now you see, though, I lost having the rhinos cleared out. Unfortunately, because they're mean as fuck. We'll go south here, though. I'm kind of just looking for an opportunity to get hearts. Oh my god, I got hit by the little seed bead. But now we'll be able to build the workshop. We'll do one more run, though. I think we got time for it. I hope you all are enjoying the game. It's a lot of fun. So some comparisons that are a little bit obvious. This game reminds me, it's funny because one of the more popular ones I could compare it to is Children of Morta. That's fair. It's a game where you do have like a permanent progression in a roguelite world. But actually a more obvious one for me. Oh, that's so tempting. But I'd rather do the workshop to show you the mechanic. More obvious one for me is actually a game called Moonlighter, which not a ton of people I know played or loved, but I did like it. It was a game where you go into caves, buy these items you could then bring out and sell. With things you sold, you got it's sort of like a middleman thing of rather than just going in and getting the Sparklite, you had to get the items to sell to then get the money to buy your upgrades. But that was the idea. You ran a shop. That was part of the story of the game, and I really liked that. But then you could progressively get further into that game and unfold the plot, which feels like what's happening here. So I think that's a good comparison. Not to mention the art styles are similar in their retro aesthetics. All right, I'm going to help you with your workshop, sir. There it is. So we can come inside, chat with the man, the myth, the legend. What do you got there? Is that a spark slinger? It looks like quite exceptional device. So they'll let me keep that from earlier. Where do you find the inspiration for this? Blah, 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 blah. I want to build it. Blah, 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 blah. Here, take this. And so now they also gave me something to help me find vaults within the certain maps, which is nice because if you enter a new world and you just want to beeline it for the map to get a new thing, you can do that. It's a patch, though, which takes up one of those 9 slots that we have right now. If you find any more inspiration in those vaults, come back here to my workshop. You can use any available workbench to create a gadget and breathe life into those schematics. And if you run out of workbenches, you can power up more by bringing me Sparklite. Now get going. I have more discoveries to make. So we can decide here what we want this to be. We don't have the money for either, so we're going to leave for now. But you can essentially help him unfold a bunch of tables where we'll have items, and then those you can take into the worlds. For now, it looks like we're going to have to commit to one. The cheaper, of course, is the bow. It's not as strong, but that's fine. And then lastly, we might as well come in here and max out what we've got equipped. So like, we'll put that one on. And we have a new quarter heart, which has us almost at a full additional heart. And you can see how that could help you progress further into the game. But for now, we only have 24 Sparklite, so there's no reason for us to stay. There's nothing else for us to do. So we're going to go back into the world. Give it one more go. Just to see what we can unfold. More Sparklite right off the bat. I like it. We'll go right this time, since the left appeared to be wrong. Every now and then, the dodge is a little weird for me. Ooh, a down well. Okay, let's look. I want to show you what's down these. A lot of times they're kind of combat centric, or they require you have light, which I don't, so we're not going to fuck with it. You can buy items that can help you illuminate your way, but we don't have that yet. And we have a tree. And we have some cluster bombs. Unfortunately, they don't help us illuminate. That is an item we have the ability to find. And find it we shall. Ooh, and here we have basically like a pick 3. Again, another Zelda tribute. Yar har har, look what just washed up, me mateys. It's our next contestant. What are we waiting for? Come on down. So basically it's gonna be like an open and win game. So you can find this once per run, it seems like. So he gave us a Monty's Crew card, which lets us play. And every time you play the game, he'll star the card, get 10, and he'll upgrade our rank. Don't know what that means. Yes, I'll give you 10 Sparklite. Because it's a chance to win a lot if you win. As you can see, he's very excited by us being a willing contestant. I'm going with the right. Now he's going to show us one. Dang it! But it was worth it. And there's another dead end for you. Next. Ah, that's a dead end too. Maybe we go... South was like kind of a dead end, but only insofar as... Oh, that was one of the energy boosters. Let's go down again. So we've actually hit a corner here. Because we can't go down on that previous square. I hate that plant because something about the rhythm of how he spits, by the time you zip to him, he's ready to shoot you right in the face again. So now, because we found Margot on the last run, we can't give him the medallion. The medallion breaks every time it resets, so we'd have to talk to him and now find Margot. Similar language, he's looking for Margot, he gives me his medallion. We'd have to find her to give her the medallion to let her know that he's safe. And now we have timed mines, which you've seen before. We had that during the initial tutorial phase in order to let us through the rocks. So maybe we'll go find Margot. Hopefully, honestly. I want her to know that Pogo's alright. We know Pogo's alright. You know, we have that important peace of mind, but something, you know, I never want to take for granted. Alright, so there's your first healing item. We don't need to use it yet, though. I'm going all the way for the left. Every time I hear the flower, I think it's one of the beats, but it's just those flowers singing. Ooh, I didn't. Oh, I thought that was a tree. There's a rhino daddy. I don't know if they can... Well, shit. Oh, the Sparklite goes in the hole, too. I was about to say. That's the ultimate hack. All right, we'll go south. We'll try to find the bottom corner of our map. And there's Margot, so we can let them know that they're both okay. You got Pogo's medallion, is okay, hooray. Time for me to head home. Please take this. I found it while I was exploring and I have no idea how to use it. So she gives you the Vinlands on the world map when you land in the world. It's another patch though, so you'd have to agree to put it on. But that means that every time you start to run in the Vinlands now, if you feel like you're not done with it, you can come in with the map for the area. So now she'll be an NPC for us up in the refuge. Don't know what she does yet. We'll have to find out after we die. We'll go say hey. All right, we're doing all right on Sparklite. We're back above 50, so there are options for us again. Now when we go up, we now have our sort of like southeast option on our map. Shit balls. Is he gone? Did I leave him in the... Well, that's nutso. All right. I've like glitched out some rhinos. Kind of hot in these rhinos. All right, we have another Hyperlight Drifter door. We'll step on the button just to... Oh, God, I almost planted a bomb. I'm thankful for the drop time. Now, notice we can't open this because I believe it's the only shrine for the area. It illuminates the area for a short amount of time. So now we could go back, actually, to our hole. I don't remember where it was. I want to say maybe here, which I believe... could have, you know, there was value in the ability to do illumination. So something to consider looking into. But for now, we'll go north. Another limit of our map. I like it. I like the feeling of like discovery and progression of sort of being like, okay, that's it, narrowed that down. It's something I find satisfying in games. It's something I like about the Souls series. As you know, I'll always find a way to tie it back to the Souls series. But I like that sensation of like, okay, this is a dead end. This is fully explored now. Now, this is not a boss chamber here. There would be like a skull, I believe, here. So it is worth going down to explore. Even if it was a boss chamber, I'd say fuck it. But I'd wait and explore a little more first. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It's actually sort of like, I believe, like tiered levels as we go. But we have heals, which we can quickly stop and apply at any time. I might actually go ahead and put them in the space position now. Just so we can take shots of adrenaline as needed. They'll get progressively harder, but that's sort of like one little mini floor down. You notice no rope, so you can't come back up. Like, we're pot committed. And that's another one. I want to say it's worth healing now just because, yeah, it doesn't heal you more than one heart. So I'm going to be able to... Oh, fuck. This is a Big Daddy. I don't like him. His moveset's pretty obvious and slow, though. You just can't get too greedy. God, I couldn't get the dodge. It happened to me again where it wasn't facing the right way. That combination of the way you face with your mouse and the way you're holding with your key is changing the game. But when you get through that, I believe you get like a patch or something like that. There is a reward to be found in each of those. Definitely worth checking out. So now we have the ability to put our map on. Why not? It's sort of my thought process whenever you have, you know... Wait, I thought though we had... Oh no, we did. We had the shrine finder on. And then we have 100. We're not ready to upgrade our facility, but it is worth saving at this point. Now let's go see if we can find Margot or Pogo, whichever one moved here. They both did. Hey, Ada. Hey again. We're taking a breather from exploring. Yeah, those quakes are making it tough, but we won't let them stop us. Yep, we'll be exploring again in no time. So I imagine there'll be a lot of syncing them up as you go through the various maps. And that is generally the gameplay loop of Sparklite. You continue to explore the areas you're in, fight your way through till you're strong enough to fight the boss of that area, hit the switches so that you can advance into new areas of the game, of which I believe there's like typically more than one possibility. The shifting sands, or there can be like another world you could potentially go to, I think. I don't know how that changes with the different fractures, but you'll have to find out for yourself. Again, this one will be available on November 14th. Not sure of the price just yet, but it's going to be available on Steam. I'd likely guess it's around the 15 to 20, and I think that's perfectly fair. Likely on sale when it first launches as well. So please check that out when it comes out. I highly recommend this one for those of you who are fans of the genre and you know, roguelites. And if you liked anything like Moonlighter or Children of Morta, those are the closest analogs, but even other ones like Gungeon and Isaac and you know, Nuclear Throne and things like that. This is obviously one worth checking out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please click the like button. Helps out a lot. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this one, what you've seen in the different worlds, if you're going to be checking out Sparklite. And lastly, if you want to see more from me, I've got reviews, I've got first impressions videos, I got walkthroughs, I got let's plays, all kinds of things like that here on the channel. I'd love to have you there. If you want to see more like that, please hit subscribe, and we'll see you again in the next one. Thanks for watching.